Well, hello. We are almost at the midnight hour. What a crazy time to come in and do a show. But I wanted to do a little catch up and talk about some parcels and playlists tonight. Talk soon.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Well, hello, everybody. How's everything going? I wanted to catch up with you guys. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day weekend. Last Thursday, I had a gig, so it was a busy time. So that's why I wanted to catch up here. Of course, I got another busy week this week. Got things coming up, family coming into town. Should be cool. So, but yeah, thoughts to those who are out there who, dealing with stuff or have stuff going on that are just as busy as me. But also send my greetings in regards to my friend. So the gig went well the other day. We had a great time. Played down at the St. Louis Harley Davidson, which is down on Lee May Ferry, and had a great time. Played some great music. We have some great songs that we play in our band. Like I say, we're not a blues band, but we play songs that have a blues edge to that, which is why we're Edge of Blue. So if you live in the area, if you're coming through the area, I'll tell you about when I'm playing, and I'll put it out there. You guys can check it out. So let's see who we got in here. Hey, Casey, how's it going? What's going on, man? Yeah, you're up. Well, you're not up late because you're out where it's earlier. So it's not nearly midnight there. It is nearly 10 o'clock there. So thank you. It's good to see you, man. We just saw each other on DJC earlier, and that was cool. He's a one. I guess he'd be what we just define as a one crazy mofo, one crazy creative mofo. One of his characters, I swear, has people locked in the basement. I don't know what you think about that, Casey, but it's it's about my bedtime still. Yeah, I hear you. It is my bedtime, and I shouldn't be up. I've got a lot to do tomorrow. But yeah, he is a nut. He's a creative nut. Creative nut. So anyway, well, let's get started here. Like I said, did that, and then also, as you can't see right now, as you will see, I've changed things around a little bit. So I decided to move the little couch that I had in here, and you'll see over my shoulder right back there. See, that's where the table used to be, and it's not there. So I've got to get this taken out of here. I still have my pole lights here from my gig, and that's all the vinyl down there that I'm going to be integrating into the collection. That piece of glass, I got to get that figured out. I've got to get a board cut to match. I don't even know if you can see that piece of glass. It's right there. There's the edge of it. I'm looking at the screen back here, and I'm going, I can barely see it. Anyway, it's there. So it's a long piece of glass. It goes on that little table that used to sit here. And what I'm going to do is come up with a poster board. I've got plenty of boards and stuff around here. And then I'll make a collage on it, on the board, and put it under the glass, like duck. Isn't that duck under glass? What is that? Yeah, duck under. I don't know, whatever the hell it is. So anyway, but I'll put it on there, and I'll put it on the table out there in the other room. So anyway, I'm gonna see how I'm gonna do this integration thing. It always seems to me that maybe it seems a little boring, but maybe it's not for people. And when I say I got to integrate, that means, for those of you who haven't seen any of my uh, vinyl integration videos, it means that I have to basically go through. I've got these all alphabetized, and starting with things that are autographed, and then I have to take everything out because the autograph stuff starts up over there. So it's it's a thing. It's time consuming, and I'm never quite sure where to put the camera, so that it stays interesting. But I mean, maybe it's just more interesting than I think. So you let me know. Put in the comments. Let me know if you'd just like to watch that. So then I got some pillows and things over here that I have to move. I have a new like a twin bed that I'm going to put in. That's going to be like it's going to be like a couch kind of thing because I moved that other little couch out of here. So I got to have something. So anyway, that's on order. And I realized, of course, as usual, that my mic is doing this weird thing too. It's driving me bananas where it just starts to drift, oh, ever so slightly away, and it's driving me crazy because I moved it. I moved it, and now it's, the toughest thing about podcasting sometimes is physics. What can I say? It's about the physics. I have been working on my area as well lately. Yeah, you were saying that you had a lot to do there, but it looked kind of the same to me. So it might have been things down below, like what I'm dealing with here. If you look right here, you'd think, oh, well, nothing's changed, except that that dresser's not here. The dresser's down at the end now. So I'm just moving things around. This is where the couch is going to go with all the cool pillows and things on it. I've got some rock and roll pillows, cases, and things like that, like the classic Trooper Iron Maiden pillowcase, and oh, I mean, Iron Maiden's my band, right? So I would regard that as my favorite thing, right? Is the Trooper pillowcase. However, um, also, how many square feet is that area? I have no clue. Um, I would say no. I'd say 10 by 10 by 15, somewhere in there. So yeah, not where you can see when I'm live. Yes, everywhere else. Everything at the feet. So the place where you're not wearing pants. But anyway, so what I did was I moved all that around. And this is going to be like a couch because I won't have a seating area now. I mean, except for that until that gets here. That'll be here Saturday. But it'll be also a twin size bed. So in case, there's some late nights where I'm working on some things down here, I can just crash out there. Got me a nice firm mattress. I was talking with a guy down the road who sells furniture and mattresses, things like that. And he showed me one. I checked it out. I liked it. But my wife immediately found it somewhere that was a little cheaper. So blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I have always worn pants, unlike Jeff. Well, oh, or that fat dude that never wore a shirt, whatever, whoever that guy was. I don't know. Video game guy. It's weird. Um, so anyway, but that's going to be like a little, couch bed thing. So should be neat. I got to move those boxes back here. I got boxes. You can see these boxes that I built. I have to move those. I don't know. I just gotta. I got other things. I got a lot to figure out. So hopefully I can get her done. Otherwise, though, I have cleaned up the rest of the basement. So it's nice over there. Just my area, trying to get it figured out. So that's where we stand right now. I'm going to go through these parcels with you guys now that we're past the midnight hour. And I do have one other kind of surprise tonight that I'm going to start. First of all, actually, I really wanted to show you this. So this is what it was like back in the day. Casey will remember this place. When I say realistic, as far as audio is concerned and music, when I say realistic, what do you think? You think Radio Shack. So this is a classic cassette. You can see that it's low noise, which is not what I would buy normally. Um, and this, but it says the high fidelity recording tape. It's a 60-minute tape. Now um, this happens to be my wife's grandpa. They were doing some discussions with him. But when I found this recently, I thought, oh man, I got to show this on the show because this is great. It's classic, man. Radio Shack was the joint, man. You'd go and get, all kinds of stuff there. Um, for me, I would get cables and things like that to run cassette players or CD players, whatever. I would get that stuff there. I rarely would get cassettes there because they would carry their own stuff like Realistic, but I was looking for Maxell or TDK. Those were my big ones. I think they had a Centron was a cassette brand they had back then. You miss Radio Shack. It misses you. And I bet Timothy Gaines is a huge ham radio guy. I bet next time I have him on the show, we'll have to chat a little bit about Radio Shack. I'm sure he went to Radio Shack a ton. He moved in. They moved in. They had a residence with his wife's folks for a short bit, which was not very far from here. And they were moving. He said he had a ton, probably literally a ton of gear, of ham radio gear, because he was a big buff. Now he just posted something on Facebook about that too recently. And he said, yeah, I got to move up. That's so freaking heavy. And I said, well, then I'll come over and help. He took the help and everything. We had a great time. In fact, I was talking with his to-be wife at the time. It was one of those weird moments where I was talking with her on our way out to the vehicles, and I mentioned my daughter. And as soon as I mentioned my daughter, she called me on the phone. It was so wild. So wild. Radio Shack has their own version of Intellivision, the Tandy Vision. I forgot. Blake, what's up? I forgot about the Tandy Vision. That always makes me think of one of the guys from ELO. His name was Tandy. Richard Tandy, I think it was one of them. Or whenever you're available off air and are free, I'd love to talk about being on the show and maybe do a test someday so you'd be able to hear me. All right, we can do that. So anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd show you that cassette. That was so cool. Let's see. Now let's go for a parcel, shall we? This is some classic metal. Now here's the reason why. Now, when I put it in the descriptor, I mentioned that I would explain. So I am explaining. There were some Judas Priest things that I didn't buy on CD. At the moment, I wasn't interested. And I guess, I always say everything happens for a reason and everything happens when it should, are my two things. So I didn't want to get this at the time because, I don't know, at the time I really wasn't into live footage. So I didn't get it. I bought the vinyl, but even the cover really bugged me. I was not very happy about this cover. I'm still not happy about the cover. Being a graphic designer, I'd have done it completely different. Especially because you have these beautiful pictures of the band members. The colors are great and everything, but it just the logo's not on it. What they do have for a logo is not indicative of anything that they'd had prior. So it was kind of weird to me when they put out Priest Live. So this is from the Turbo Tour. This is the tour that I saw, and you can go out there on YouTube and you can watch the footage of me and many others backstage. You just put in 1986 Judas Priest Peoria. If you do that, that's it. And you'll see the contest that I had entered was to turn in by 5 o'clock on a Friday. I was driving home when I heard the promo for this thing, which left me only a few hours to do it. Well, I'd been at a record store. I talked to you guys about being at record stores and asking about display stuff, right? So I'd gotten Turbo album flats. If you don't know what those are, that's just the album cover. They would print out just a flat album cover and they would put that up. A lot of times if you flip it over, it's got some promotional stuff on it, like the hit song from it, the first single or whatever. So that was just an album flat of Turbo. They gave me a few copies of it. So I knew I had an extra. So I took my my questions. The thing on the radio said that you write down your 3 questions you'd like to ask Judas Priest, and that they chose one of your questions for the 2025 top questions. You would get 2 tickets to go to the show, plus you would then go backstage. Your guest would not go, but you would go backstage and ask your question in person in a press conference to the band themselves. So I hustled down 3 questions real quick and turned them in, and they called me and I won. So I got to be in that. So if you do 1986 Peoria, Judas Priest, you'll see me out there. I'm like question number, I don't know. I'm in the second row. So they go across the whole front row, and then I'm halfway through the next row. So, but that's what it was. But this is, again, I'm glad I waited, because this is remastered now. I would have used their classic logo on this. I don't mind the copper color of the label or the cover, but these are beautiful pictures. If you look at the vinyl, I have the vinyl over here, but when you look at these pictures, the colors are beautiful, and I just wish they were bigger. I've never understood this cover. It's kind of like Point of Entry. Didn't understand that cover either, because remember, as I always say, it looks like a guy was working on a Pink Floyd cover, and there was a guy working on the Judas Priest cover, and they bumped into each other in the hall, and they grabbed each one grabbed the other's artwork. And so I'm just going to use my own name. So Johnson goes walking into his meeting with the new cover for the Pink Floyd album that the other guy was working on. So, and they're like, "Oh, we love it." And you're like, "That's not my art." "Yeah, good. I'm glad you love it. Glad you love it." So, kind of like when I worked on a guitar amp years ago. So yeah, this was a cool tour. This isn't my favorite record, but I mean, the Turbo album wasn't my favorite Judas Priest album, but I really like it. I do really like it. And when I was working on the radio, it came out then, obviously, when I was working on the radio in '86. And Turbo Lover and Locked In was a 7-inch single, and I have that because they didn't make it to being played. So that was that. Now let's do this since we're going to go 1 and 1. Okay, so this is disc number 3. So let's go back now. If you guys remember, I did put these in here. So Johnny Bean, what's up? Blake says, I think I said we'd be talking about Def Leppard's first couple of albums or Dawkins or something when I would be on. Been busy getting stuff done. Good. Awesome. Very good. Any of that's fine. I can talk about any of that. So we talked about the first one. Let me get this graphic up for you here. So here's the first one, if you remember that. So we had all of this pretty much except for this last song on the disc, track 18, The Raspberries Go All the Way, is my addition to this. Now remember, this is a goofy record to begin with. So when I choose The Raspberries and somebody goes, that's not metal, I'm like, there's a shit ton of things on this album that aren't metal. So just stay chill. So anyway, the next disc then continues what was on the album. Hold on a second. Yeah, because I hadn't grabbed the second one yet. So it continues what was already on the album. So if you notice here now, disc number 2, in alphabetical order, we've got BTO, Blues Image, CCR, Doobie Brothers, Dust, Foghat, Golden Earring, Grand Funk Railroad, Grateful Dead, Kiss, Montrose, Queen, the Rolling Stones, Styx, Uriah Heep, War, and Yes. So I'll tell you what is original. What originally was on the album is all of these tracks that are the first 7 songs were the other songs that were on the 2 album collection that didn't make it on that first compilation I just showed you. So you have Yes, Starship Trooper, which is not heavy metal, but there you go. Radar Love, we were talking about that with Golden Earring, comes next with Grateful Dead's Johnny Be Good, totally not heavy metal. Not heavy metal. Then we have Foghat, What a Shame, which it's a hard hitter. It's not heavy metal, but it's hard. Stealin', now we're finally back to something a little more metal. So then you have War, Lonely Feeling, definitely not metal. Blues Image, Ride Captain Ride. These are great songs. These are not metal. So it's just silly. It is silly. But then we have, then I moved in and we had these bonus tracks. So everything from here on are bonus tracks. Styx, Best Thing, great song. Real rocker, kick-ass tune. It's got a metallic edge to it, and it's the keyboards. The organ is particularly heavy on that song. Those were back in the days where JY was doing more songs on the record. After that, he'd be doing the one song. You know, there'd always be that one song that he would do on all the albums. I told him that when I interviewed him. I said, I want you to know every album that came out, I would look forward to your song every time. So Montrose, Rock the Nation, that whole album is on the precipice of hard rock, heavy rock. So Kiss, Strutter, had to put some Kiss on there. I mean, come on. Doobie Brothers, Rockin' Down the Highway. Again, bear with me on some of this because I'm just trying to stay with the flow of the record. It may not be metal, but they've already fucked that up in the beginning, right? They've already decided we don't know what metal is. So I'm like, well, if you've got some of that ahead of time, you might as well, continue to flavor it with some cool stuff like that. Rockin' Down the Highway is a great song. Used to play that live. Queen, Keep Yourself Alive, great song. I've wanted to do that one for many years. Foot Stompin' Music, Grand Funk Railroad. I put this one on here because of the fact that there was one night on my hometown radio station where they put together what they would call poor man's concert, where it'd just be either one band or two bands. Maybe they would do, like, you have an opening band and the headliner, right? So they would do that sometimes. And this night it was, they called it metal. So Foot Stomping Music was one of the songs they had. UFOs, Lights Out was one of the other songs on there. I think they had a Uriah Heep on there. But, you know, at that time, though, that was like during high school. And I recorded that on a low noise cassette. It was a TDK. I think TDK had a blue label for their low noise tapes. Green for their high end. So anyway, next I had BTO, Blown. I love that song. It's from BTO 2. It's fantastic. That's such a great record. I grew up on that and Not Fragile were the two albums by BTO I grew up on. And then later when I start my own vinyl collection, I'd get BTO 4-wheel drive. So yeah. CCR, Sweet Hitchhiker. It's pretty heavy, pretty hard for CCR, for crying out loud. Dust. If you've never heard Dust, check them out. I started with Heart Attack. I didn't know about their first album. It's From a Dry Camel is from their first album, which was a Keishi classic here in St. Louis, but they didn't play Spit by Dust where I was from. But I went to Co-op Tapes and Records in Peoria, and I was looking through their cutout section like I did all the fricking time. And I'm flipping through and I find this album cover with a Frazetta painting. And I'm like, I have no clue what this is, but I'm buying it. And it's Dust. Kenny Aronson was the bass player in that band. Mark Weiss would then go on to, I think it was Mark Weiss, would go on and actually produce Kiss. So I don't know if Strutter was one of those tracks, but that might have been one of the tracks he produced back in the day. Anyways, really cool. It's kind of neat tie-in. But yeah, Kenny Aronson, great bass player. I met him many years ago out in Vegas real quick. And that was a neat night. But that Dust album is fantastic. It's called Heart Attack. And I've asked my friend Joe, who was on the show recently, my buddy drummer Joe, to do a song off that. There's an instrumental track out in there. I learned it years ago and I got to relearn it. It's called Ivory. And it's very percussive, very heavy. But all in all is what I did in this one. And then we finished with the Rolling Stones, Can't You Hear Me Knocking, which is a cool, hard, one of their more hard rockin' tunes. Again, I like the two tunes that are on this new record. I just don't know why they're doing Marvel covers. For whom is that? It's a cash grab. That's all I can say. But anyway, yeah. Let's take this off of here. Now, I got one more package here, and I can't wait to tell you about the next package that I'm still expecting to arrive. Let me get the crinklies going here. So, with the remasters, I've owned all of these, but then they did the remasters, and I didn't bother to buy them all right away, which is kind of fun. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because they're a little cheaper now, I would assume. One of these was like $7.99, and they just weren't that expensive anymore. But all three of these are the remasters. I love looking at them. I'm not a huge fan of this silver border they put on it, but it's an easy way to know. Except the easier way to know is that they put the remasters right down the side. So, but whatever. I picked up one of these remasters The Killing Machine, which I'm sorry, I always say it's like eagles and scorpions. It's just eagles. It's just scorpions. It's not the scorpions. It's not the eagles. And with this, it's just, oh yeah, it was originally when Hellbent for Leather was released in England. It was called Killing Machine, not the Killing Machine, just Killing Machine. So the song Killing Machine was the title track when it came out over there. And in 1979, I had the chance to buy it on vinyl as Killing Machine, and I had to pass. I only had so much money. So yeah, that didn't make me happy. But anyway, let's get into these. This album, all three of these albums are smashing. They are wonderful albums. The first one is Sin After Sin. This is going to be, this album is it's their third record, Rockarola, Sad Wings, and this, yeah, right? Yeah. This has great songs on it. Sinner is on here. Diamonds and Rust is on here. Starbreaker, Last Rose of Summer is a song that I played one time with Guy, and I'm actually going to be playing it if I can get this other band together to do a few gigs here and there. I really want to do that song. He and I played it outside at some club. He was doing an acoustic gig, and I joined him, and we played that song. But it's one of those songs, just like, oh, come on, like Before the Dawn, which is on Killing Machine / Hellbent for Leather. And if you put that on for somebody, Epitaph is another one. If you put that on for somebody, they would never know it's Judas Priest. But Last Rose of Summer is gorgeous. Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest, Raw Deal, Here Come the Tears, and Dissident Aggressor are all the regular tracks. Now, this also has Race with the Devil and Jawbreaker live. Some of these live tracks, they just would put them on whatever. So Jawbreaker is much further down the line. But they put the live version on here. This album was this album had Simon Phillips on drums and was produced by Roger Glover. So from Deep Purple and Rainbow. So pretty cool. I like the colors. Colors came out nicely on that cover. This one is I have it on 8-track, and it is called Stained Class. It's a great record. And on here you have Exciter, White Heat, Red Hot, Better by You, Better Than Me, which is another Peter Green tune. He also wrote Green Manalishi with Two-Prong Crown. He was in Fleetwood Mac. Then you have the title track, Stained Class, Invader, Saints in Hell. God, what a great song. Savage, Beyond the Realms of Death, which got them into court. Hero's End then is the last track. But now on this, it has Fire Burns Below, and then a live version of Better by You, Better Than Me. So wonderful album. Yeah, I love it. I love it. James Guthrie did the production on that album. Tom Allen was working with the band at this time. This is going to be an album that I'll be talking about more when I redo one of my early shows. I'm going to redo it in a better fashion. But this album is what really kicked them into full gear worldwide, and especially in the States, across the States. It really opened things up. I saw this tour from the second row standing in a skating rink with a pulled ligament in my ankle. How about that? and it is the British Steel Tour. So love this record. I'm telling you, probably it's not Grinder. It is. Oh, come on. It's not Grinder. It's. Oh shoot. Steeler. Oh, nice way to make noise. Steeler. I think that's the track. Yeah. But then they played it live, which nobody was standing up. It was Sabaton opening up for Judas Priest on the Invincible Shield album tour, and everybody, most everybody's standing up when they do the, for Sabaton. Everybody's standing up around me. Judas Priest is up there. Nobody hardly is standing. I kind of played it in the middle. I kind of sat down in the seat a bit, but I'm like, people, come on. What are you doing? So I don't know. Like I do, I rocked my ass off and just had fun. And there was a gal behind us. She's like, man, I love watching you rock out. And I'm like, well, thanks. I love this band. So, okay. So here we go. Let's, so now that we got that, I will tell you after we go through this other playlist, I'll tell you about what else is on its way that I'm very, very excited about. So here we go with our disc 3. You'll see we got April Wine, Blue Oyster Cult, Chicago, Rick Derringer. We have ELO, ELP, Guess Who, Jethro Tull, Moody Blues, Mountain, Pink Floyd, REO Speedwagon, Santana, Joe Walsh, The Who, Edgar Winter Group, and ZZ Top. So we're going to start with Jethro Tull. You got Locomotive Breath, fantastic tune. They played that actually at our wedding reception, if you can believe it. Salvatore, you monster. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Blue Oyster Cult, Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll, first track off their first record. Guess Who, American Woman, real heavy, good, heavy-duty tune. Much better there than done by Lenny Kravitz. I don't know what Lenny Kravitz was thinking when he covered that. It's very boring. It's not great. April Wine, you could have been a lady. Great tune. Back in the days when, there was a lot of us. That was the first thing that we heard by them, and we really wouldn't hear much from them again. At least we wouldn't in the mid Illinois area, central Illinois. We wouldn't hear much more from them, from their Canadian releases, until they came out with Roller, I suppose. Roller, because I bought First Glance, which also is one of those albums that had a different cover when it was in Canada or Canada, whichever way you want to put it. And but You Could Have Been a Lady. I always remembered that song. Always loved it. Still love it. Would love to play it in my band. That and Roller, which was from that First Glance album. Pink Floyd, Money. It's a heavy tune. It's hard to, it's got beef, even though it's not a heavy metal song. It's got some beef to it. Feeling Stronger Every Day. It's kind of the same. It's a heavy hitter for Chicago back in the time. 5:15, definitely a heavy hitter for The Who. Santana, Persuasion as well. These are all heavy hitters from these bands. Moody Blues, Story in Your Eyes. Man, I'll tell you what, that song is one of my top favorite Moody Blues tunes. Story in Your Eyes. Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band's another one. I could have put that on here. It's probably a little heavier than Story in Your Eyes, but Story in Your Eyes is just one of those passionate tunes I loved from back then. ELP Tank, good and heavy. Golden Country, good and heavy from REO Speedwagon. ZZ Top, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, just played that in the band. I'm getting ready to play it again here in a couple of weeks. Rick Derringer, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coochie, that's a heavy hitter. Rocky Mountain Way, Joe Walsh, Mountain, Mississippi Queen, that is a heavy hitter. Mama Bell by ELO, it's in the same vein. Frankenstein, by Edgar Winter Group rounds out the third one. Now, I am looking forward to putting putting together, shall we say. I'm looking forward to putting together another one of these CDs, and we'll see what we got on there. Blue Cheer was brought up last time about for being a band that would be good. Wishbone Ash is another great band for that, and there's so many others out there that have great tunes that would be in that same vein, because you have to kind of do it by when it came out, right? That's the other thing. You have to stay below 1974. You can't step over that line, because then it's not, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. When they put out that first movie, the classic soundtrack was amazing. And my friend said, you know what I really like about it? It seems as though the soundtrack is a character in the movie. It's so good, and it plays such a part that it's almost as if it's a character in the movie. Well, the second one came out, and she saw it before I did, and she's like, yeah, I just thought that the soundtrack wasn't as much a character in the movie as the first. So when I saw it, I understood what she was talking about. But when I made a second volume of that prior, I had to, you have to put you have to kind of think about his mom, because his mom put that together for him. So you can't just start putting random tunes in that are just 70s tunes. You have to kind of think about, you have to kind of get in touch with, the motherly side of it, and kind of think about what other songs she might put on there, and, and why. So, yeah. Now I do have one last little, and I'll tell you about what else I have. So back in the day, I told you, sometimes I was a bad boy, and, you didn't want to always have to spend the money, right? Not if you have a stack of blank CDs and a burner. So I always thought about that with the industry. I was kind of like, well, why? Okay, if we can't make copies, so we're not supposed to make copies, but really you're not supposed to make copies and sell those copies. That's part of it. But the other part is you're really not supposed to make copies. But I didn't have all the money, so I was, making Aerosmith, Blue Oyster Cult's another one. Well, I got out there, and at one point I had seen this box set of Blue Oyster Cult. Well, I saw it again recently, and I was reading the description, and I realized that the collection that they put out is all of the Columbia records. So when all is said and done, between rarities and all that, you're getting 16 audio discs, and it's under $80. It's $77. And then I start going through it. It said 16 discs. That's audio. That's all the records that they did from the first album all the way through to Revolution by Night, Club Ninja. Yeah, up to Club Ninja is what it is. So I'm not saying that I love every one of the records. However, there is great stuff in each one of those records. So I'm like, you know what? And it comes with a 17th disc, which is a DVD, which is my understanding is that it's a DVD of their 1977 tour for Spectres. So I love that record. That's probably my favorite of their albums, but it's a close first place tie between that and Secret Treaties. So anyway, all of those albums are in this box set, and it's coming. And I can't wait to get it. It's probably going to be here in about a week and a half, I suppose. So we'll open that up here, and I'll actually go through that with you guys, because that's exciting. Then also, let's see if I can pull this up here. I did find my box of photos. I got a bunch of digital photos on my computer because of the, digital days when that came up. But I just thought I'd pull some random pictures and kind of tell you guys. I figure should we do three? Three's good. I'll pick out 3 random pictures. So I'll do them one at a time so that I can kind of just randomly pull one out. Hopefully it's something relatively good. And I'll just pull it out of here and keep my finger where it should go back in. So I don't, because I think I put these in order. I'm not sure. Let's see what we have. Oh, look at that. Okay. So there's 2 things here. Okay, so here's it's oh no, wait. Why can't I think of his name? It's Tony, right? It's the bass player, lead guy. He's not with us anymore from the outfield on stage. Now, do you see behind him the drummer? That is Simon, who was playing for Iron Maiden. So he was playing with them back in that time frame. So yeah, that was a great show, great night. John Spinks was still alive, and I think they were on the tour for their Rock Eye album, is what it was. I love their Bangin' album. That was cool. All right, I'm looking. I'm not supposed to be looking. Let's just get to the middle of the box here. We'll pull out another one. So anyway, they were playing just across the river at Pops, and it was a great show. And they hung out after the show. It was really cool. Got to meet up with them. Oh, there you go. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to. Oh, I can't say his name now. He's very well known too. Bass player. There you go. And he played for. I can't say her name now either. She was the Miss America who was in Penthouse. Why can't I say her name? She was in Diva. I can see her. She was in Eraser with Schwarzenegger. Come on. Anybody? You can help me. Somebody out there can help me. God, why can't I think of that guy's name? Al Caldwell. Al Caldwell. That's who that is. Now, do you see that bass? It's freaking huge. I don't think that was a 9-string. Now, he has passed away. I was not Al. Not Al. I'm not talking about Al. But this was in Nashville, and I made it to the Conklin Guitars booth. Now, I knew Bill Conklin, but I didn't even think about it. I didn't think that he would be there. And it hit me later. I'm like, oh my God, this is Bill Conklin stuff. But yeah, he built these amazing basses that these guys would play. So yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'll pull this one out. I'll show you more of these, but this one is one of my very favorites. It's me backstage. I took my brother backstage for his 30th birthday to the Doobie Brothers, and there I am with Tom Johnston there. And then, it was funny too, because I'll show you. Now, let's see if I've got it right here. I'll just show you now. Oh, yeah, that's a cool shot. Oh, man, that's a cool shot. Okay, I'll be sharing these with you. Hold on. Yeah, so hopefully I have. Yep, there it is. So if you'll notice this picture, my brother, who's been on the show, gave me my first album. He gave me Kiss Live, that Kiss Alive first one. He looks more like Patrick Simmons than he looks like my brother. I was just like, whoa, man, that you guys look a lot more alike than we look alike. So it's kind of wild. But yeah, that was his 30th birthday, and I took him backstage to see Doobie Brothers. Now I do have other pictures from that same gig, because we did do one other thing, but I'll share those later. I'll kind of get these in order. I'll spend a little time and get these, because I see that they're not in order. And then it'll also allow me to review them a little bit. So I know what I have. And I'll just I'll go through and I'll take pictures of all the real good ones. So I have it all digitally. That'll make it easier. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, yeah, some cool pictures in there. Can't wait to show you all those. And we'll do that. I'll get those out. So remember our playlists. You've got them out there. You can check them out, and you can make those up if you want. You could put them in to your whatever streaming thing you do. Or if you own all those songs, you can put them on iTunes like that, whatever you use. So, all right, guys, I think that's about it. I will get to some sleep, and hopefully you guys will get some good sleep too. Like and subscribe. If you dig what's happening here, it's always a great thing to do. Always remember as well that when you step out your door every day, you're in everybody else's world. They are not in yours. So act accordingly. Boy, did I ever pull up on some people that weren't thinking about everybody else. That's a rough one, man. I'll tell you. There's days where you're just like, can you just pay attention? Focus not only on what you're doing, but focus on what's going on around you. So it really helps. But you guys take it easy, take care, and I will look forward to seeing you guys again real soon. So I think that's it. So a good rockin', good night. We'll talk to you guys later.